Going, mic check, 1, 2. Level check, 1, 2. From Basehor-Linwood High School. Basehor versus Lansing.
One that we used the first night in Lee's Summit last week, and the other guy said that he had problems with it, so he went back to using the old one, or whatever other one he had been using before on Friday night, the last night we were there.
Good evening from 810varsity.com in Basehor, Kansas. We are at Basehor-Linwood High School, where tonight a big clash in the Kaw Valley League as the Lansing Lions take on the Basehor-Linwood Bobcats. Just getting ready for the opening tip. The starting five for Lansing: Isaiah Grice, Clay Young, Lucas Mine, Mike Miller, and Chris Jones. And for the host Bobcats, the twins Colin and Ryan Murphy, Ben Johnson, Brad Waterman, and Chase Younger. Opening tip controlled by the home team and Ryan Murphy. Waterman trying to get Johnson set up on the post early. Johnson had it knocked away, and then he pokes it away from Grice in the backcourt, but it goes over to the Lions. Lansing coming into the game 10-1. Only loss was last week in the semifinals of the Tonganoxie Invitational, losing 58-56 to Blue Valley Southwest. Basehor-Linwood on this floor lost in the championship game of its own tournament at the hands of the Ottawa Cyclones. Bobcats 9-2 on the year. Both these teams 5-0 in league play. It's Lucas Mine, a little floater from the baseline, and it goes down. Opening bucket, a runner from Lucas Mine, the 5'10 junior, and it's 2-0 Lansing on top. Murphy stumbles into the front court. Now over to his brother Ryan. He's guarded by Chris Young. Colin Murphy now picks up his dribble. Clay Young all over him, official counting there. Lansing fans in the ear of the Bobcats at this end of the floor here. Now tapped away, out of bounds. Mike Miller denying that pass, and it's Bobcats basketball on the baseline. We're just over a minute in, and it's 2-0 in favor of the visiting Lions. Younger, Johnson, now Younger slashing on the baseline. Ball might have been redirected by Young. Now Young definitely got a piece of that one by Murphy. And now it's the other Murphy. This will be Colin heading to the free throw line after the foul. This one is going against Chris Young. Sorry, Chris Jones, I apologize. Murphy's first free throw puts the Bobcats on the board. 2-1 our score, 6:48 to play here in the opening quarter. And we're tied at 2. Clay Young into the front court, guarded by Colin Murphy. Now Johnson tries to cut him off. Got his man in the air, off the rim. Jones with the rebound and the putback. Chris Jones puts Lansing back on top by a bucket. 4-2 our score, a minute and a half in. Younger trips. Now it ends up on the post. Ryan Murphy. Tough shot, rebound pulled down by Isaiah Grice. Mine into the front court. Had it knocked away. Now into the front court, Murphy. Can't get it in the corner, but it stays at this end of the floor as the official points to Clay Young and says it went off of the Lansing junior. First substitution of the game comes from the home team as Tanner Garver, a 6-foot junior, checks in. He replaces Brad Waterman. Colin Murphy in the corner, trying to get Johnson set up on the post, working hard to get there, has it blocked by Grice. Ended up right in the hands of Colin Murphy, though, and Murphy ties it at 4. 5:50 to play in the first quarter. Lansing 4, Basehor-Linwood 4. Now a steal. Murphy to Murphy. Contested from behind, misses it, but tapped in by Colin Murphy. All 6 Bobcat points for Colin Murphy. And the first lead of the night for the Bobcats at 6-4. Mine guarded very closely by Younger, and the sophomore guard, Chase Younger, picks up his first foul, the first team foul of the evening on the Bobcats. J.P. Downing checking in now, replacing Johnson for Basehor-Linwood. Downing suffered an injury in the last game against Ottawa, dislocating his elbow, but recovered and came back in. And now After the steal, Garver back to Murphy. Ryan Murphy it is this time. And it's 8-4. Bobcats on top. Just over 5 minutes to play here in the first quarter. And Lansing coach Rod Briggs wants a timeout to talk about it. 5:07 to play in the first quarter. 8-4, Basehor-Linwood on top. Tonight's broadcast on 810varsity.com brought to you by A&B CarStar. Collision or repair, A&B CarStar has locations throughout the Kansas City Metro. Check us out online for the closest location to you at carstar.com or Carville Riverside location for more information. 816-741-6966. A&B CarStar is proud to be the title sponsor of 810varsity.com and sponsor high school sports year-round throughout the metro area. So a 6-0 run here, little mini spurt by the host Bobcats, who lead 8-4. As we resume action, it's Lions basketball, and Lucas Mine will trigger the offense, guarded by Downing. Younger tried to step in the passing lane, leads to an open jump shot. Isaiah Grice with 3, and it's 8-7. The lead down to 1. Tried to get Ryan Murphy inside. Now a touch for the big fella. Has it blocked by Young, but a foul on Lansing. Second foul against Lansing. And the first against Clay Young. Ryan Murphy to the free throw line for 2. Eddie Hunt, Khalil Bailey checking in, replacing Miller and Young for Lansing. Before this second free throw attempt by Ryan Murphy. He and his brother, both standing 6'5", have combined for all 9 and now 10 points for the Bobcats, who now lead 10-7. Quickly into the front court, Grice. Now Lucas Mine. Bailey just into the game. Leaves it for Grice, who wants another 3. That one's short. Long rebound controlled by Bailey. And another chance for Lansing. Jones, strong move inside and finishes. Chris Jones with his second basket of the game. And it's 10-9, Bobcats on top. 4:20 to play in the opening quarter. Double clutch move by Murphy was blocked, and here comes Lansing the other way. Bailey to Lucas Mine. Hunt trying to get position inside on Murphy. Thought for a second he should have gotten the basketball, but it's the other side where Jones gets another touch. That one off the side of the backboard and rebounded by Tanner Garver. Just over halfway through this first quarter, 10-9, Basehor on top. Slashing to the basket, Younger kisses it off the glass and in. Chase Younger, now a steal in the backcourt. Basket doesn't go, however, for Garver. And check that, it was Downing off the steal and the miss. Jones at the rim, fouled, and free throws upcoming for the Lions. That one was loudly rejected after the whistle, but Jones' right hand was being dragged down. Foul goes against Downing, his first, team's second, and Chris Jones, the 6'6" senior, to the line. First free throw, no good. Johnson back in, along with Brad Waterman for Basehor-Linwood. And it's Dante Gibson, sophomore guard, who comes in for the first time for Lansing. So 0 for 2 from the line is Chris Jones. Murphy off the rebound, and it's Bobcat basketball with a 3-point lead and 3:25 to play in the first quarter. Downing stopped on the baseline. Murphy has trouble with the handles. In traffic inside, can't get it to go. Rebounded by big Eddie Hunt. Hunt at 6'7", the biggest man on the floor, and just a sophomore. This is Bailey. Leaves it to Hunt. Now Grice trying to leave it in there for Hunt. Expected the big fella to slide to the basket. Instead, it's a turnover. And now Colin Murphy wants to go right to the basket, and a charge. It was Eddie Hunt with position defensively on the low block. And a first foul on Colin Murphy. Hunt and Jones take a seat for Lansing as Miller and Miller and Young check that back in the game. 12-9 our score. Basehor-Linwood on top, 2:49 to play here in the first quarter. Young gets past Murphy into the paint. Now will pull up for a short jumper, no good. Rebound tapped around. Grice had a hand on it. Now it's Miller who finishes it. Mike Miller, the big senior. First basket of the game, lead down to 1. It's 12-11. Bobcats on top. Garver on the wing, guarded by Young. Younger. Now Ben Johnson spinning into the paint. Left hand off the back iron, no good. Rebound tapped around. Lansing controls. It's Gibson trying to push it up the floor, but it's tipped and into the hands of the Bobcats who have numbers. That pass deflected. Now it's in the corner. Younger guarded closely by Gibson. Now Garver. Johnson a little high-low to Murphy, who bangs in and finishes. Colin Murphy, 8 points to lead all scorers in the first quarter. Bobcats back on top by 3, 1:50 to play in the first quarter. Gibson around his man, had it poked from behind. Saved in the corner by Grice. And now Young wants to go right to the rim. And he's fouled. Clay Young didn't finish, but he'll go to the line for 2. Foul goes against Brad Waterman. His first foul and the 4th against the Bobcats. Clay Young, 6'4" junior, has yet to score, but will have 2 chances here at the 1:40 mark of the first quarter. Young makes good on the first, 14-12 our score. Ryan Murphy back in for his brother Colin. Lucas Mine back in for Lansing along with Devarian Sieg. Second free throw good for Young. Back to a 1-point game, 14-13. Bobcats on top as we approach a minute and a half to play in the opening quarter. It's been entertaining, it's been close as expected in what's known to be a gym packed with some of the most loud and proud fans in the area. Murphy inside, tough catch and finish. Ryan Murphy has 6, and it's 16-13. Bobcats on top, 1:16 to play in the opening quarter. Bailey guarded by Waterman off the screen, now slashing into the paint. Foul called on the drive. Apologize for some technical difficulties as we've lost our video. A drive by Clay Young. Can't finish, and Ben Johnson with the rebound. Johnson brings it up. Garver, nice seal on the post. Ryan Murphy with another bucket. The Murphy brothers with 8 points apiece. The lead is 5. It's largest of the night. 18-13, Bobcats on top. Bailey, nice move. Khalil Bailey with the runner. And it's 18-15 with under 40 seconds to play in the first quarter. Johnson between the legs, guarded by Mike Miller. Now leaves it for Garver. On the wing, Younger, baseline, leans in with contact. And Chase Younger will go to the free throw line. Foul, I believe, on Mike Miller. So it is on Mike Miller, and Younger will have 2 from the line with 25.8 seconds to play here in the first quarter. Basehor-Linwood on top of Lansing, 18-15. We've had 2 ties, 1 lead change, and the largest lead of the game is the margin right now, 18-13. Check that, 18-15 is our score now, following that basket by Bailey on the other end. Grice back in the game for Lansing. It's now the original starting 5 with the exception of Bailey, who is on in place of Miller. So 2 misses from Younger, and it remains a 3-point lead for what could be the last possession of this first quarter. 18-15 our score. Basehor-Linwood on top. Bailey has it taken away into the front court. Murphy to the rim, had it blocked from behind, and now they'll call goaltending. Bailey on the sideline, falling out, tried to throw it off his defender. Instead, it led to a fast break opportunity. And Murphy laid it up on the rim where it was knocked away. Now under 5 seconds for Lansing. Grice at the buzzer. No good tap attempt. Both Mine and Chris Jones were under there. But that's how the first quarter comes to an end. Basehor-Linwood 20 and Lansing 15. Tonight's broadcast here on A10Varsity.com brought to you by Citizens National Bank, a family-owned independent financial services organization with a strong commitment to the communities which we serve. Locations with 24-hour ATMs in Leavenworth and Lansing, as well as online banking. Citizens is a proud sponsor of both Leavenworth and Lansing webcasts this season. Citizens National Bank, member FDIC. The broadcast also brought to you by Lisa Rees. Whether buying or selling your home, Lisa Rees with Coldwell Banker, Riley & Sons brings professionalism with honesty, integrity, loyalty, and hard work. Lisa Rees will guide you step by step through the entire process. Call or text 913-240-6004 or visit online at lisarees.com, lisarees.com. So getting ready for the start of the second quarter, 20-15, Basehor-Linwood on top. It's been primarily dominated by the Murphy twins, who between them have scored all but 2 of the points for the Bobcats. 10 for Ryan, 8 for Colin. A balanced effort for Lansing with 6 different scores. No one with more than 4, and that's Chris Jones, who leads the way for Lansing. So second period underway. Lucas Mine breaks down his man and hits a mid-range jump shot. So Lucas Mine, his second bucket of the game. He went right after the shorter J.P. Downing. And a nice way to start the second period for the Lions. 20-17 our score. Downing to Murphy. Johnson back to Colin Murphy. Now to his brother Ryan. Downing back to Ryan Murphy. Downing thought about it, instead leaves it in the corner. McNabb misses, rebound, tapped around, and it ends with Eddie Hunt. And now Mine to start the offense for Lansing. Nearly a minute into the second quarter, 20-17, Basehor-Linwood on top. These two teams undefeated in the Kaw Valley with a combined just 3 losses between the two of them in the regular season. Jones with an extra pass underneath the Hunt, who had it blocked away by Ryan Murphy. Looked like Jones may have had room to put that one up on the rim himself. Instead, the extra pass to the big guy, who had it swatted from behind. Stays at this end of the floor. Hunt off of the inbound. Goes right after Murphy, and now a hold called out on the baseline against Ryan Murphy. That'll be his first and the 5th of the half. Again, a baseline inbounds, and again to Hunt. Bumped inside, wants to go up anyways. Left it short, and it falls into the hands of Ryan Murphy. Colin Murphy now guarded by Young. Johnson will spot up face his man, misses, and rebounded by Chris Jones. 6:30 to play in the first half. Basehor-Linwood 20, Lansing 17. Grice with a pump, now rises and shoots and hits. Second basket for Isaiah Grice, who's got 5 to lead Lansing. And they've got the Bobcats lead down to 1 with 6:15 to play in the first half. Johnson has it poked away, gets it back. Now Downing gives it back to Johnson. Spins on Hunt. Now double clutches, takes some contact. And the foul will go against the big fella, Eddie Hunt. Ben Johnson scoreless in the first quarter. He'll have a chance to hit 2 from the line. In the first quarter, the Bobcats 4 of 6 from the free throw line. Johnson makes good. Miller in for Hunt for the Lions. Younger replaces Downing for Basehor-Linwood. So it's McNabb, Younger, Johnson, Murphy, and Murphy for the Bobcats, who now lead by 3, 22-19 our score. It's Miller, Mine, Young, Jones, and Grice for Lansing. This is Lucas Mine. Dangerous pass as Younger closed on that one. Now Mike Miller. Clay Young now guarded by Colin Murphy. 5:48 to play in the second quarter. 22-19, Basehor-Linwood on top. Lucas Mine, a floater kind of falling away, missed it. Second chance, ends up in the hands of Grice, who comes up short. And it's rebounded by Colin Murphy, now in the hands of Ryan Murphy. Again, on the low block. Johnson goes after his man, facing up. Rebound controlled by Clay Young. And it's back to Lansing, 22-19. The Lions trail. 5:20 to play here in the first half. Grice trying to get Jones inside, but instead they'll start on the other side. Lucas Mine gets a screen, refuses it, goes the other way. Had a little opening there on Younger, but lost the handle. Now a bounce pass attempt stolen by Younger into the front court. Chase Younger, no good, and rebounded by Mike Miller. Good contest the whole way by Lucas Mine. And now a nice bounce pass, Young to Miller for the finish. 22-21, Basehor-Linwood on top. Back the other way, Younger shut off on the baseline. And now gets it to Ryan Murphy. Colin Murphy, corner three, good. Colin Murphy, 11 points. And the lead is 4, 25-21, Bobcats on top with 4:20 to play in the first half. Young, baseline, off the glass, too strong. Rebound, Lucas Mine, one dribble and goes back up and high off the glass and in. Nice job in traffic by Lucas Mine, the 5'10" junior. Among the trees, got the finish. He's now got 6 points. And that leads Lansing, who trails by 2. A near steal by Mine at this end. Now Johnson, spinning, left hand, can't finish, rebounded by Chris Jones. 25-23 the score, just over halfway through the second quarter. And it's been a good one as expected. Mine guarded by Younger, now Clay Young. Calling for a screen, but he goes the other way. Grice got his man in the air, dribbles, shoots, short. And that's going to be an over-the-back foul on Mike Miller, which will be his second. And the 6th team foul against the Lions. Lansing won both meetings last year against the Bobcats. And looking to deliver another victory in the first meeting here in 2012. It is 25-23, the host Bobcats on top, 3:12 to play in the first half. Swatted inside, it was Waterman who tried to get it in, is swatted and ends up in the hands of Ryan Murphy. Murphy with 12 to lead all scorers, and it's 27-23. Bailey off the screen, handoff, short, but then it gets the roll off the front iron. Khalil Bailey with 4 and the lead back to 2 as we're under 3 minutes to play here in the first half. Murphy picked into the backcourt, now tied up on the deck. And now timeout granted as Hunt and Ryan Murphy maybe mix it up a little bit, a couple of words there as the teams head to the sideline. 2:39 to play in the first half, 27-25. As we step out for this 30-second timeout. The broadcast brought to you by Danny Zeck Ford, a fixture in Leavenworth County for decades. Derek and Dustin Zeck are the 3rd generation of Zeck serving Leavenworth and Kansas City car shoppers. At Zeck Ford in Leavenworth, they not only believe in treating every customer special, they practice it as well. The goal is to make you feel comfortable while you're purchasing your new or pre-owned vehicle. Stop by anytime at 4501 Main Street or call 800-394-1650. And, of course, shop the entire inventory online 24/7 at dzford.com. So it's Bobcats basketball, 2:39 to play in the first half. Basehor-Linwood on top by a bucket, 27-25. Colin Murphy has 11, Ryan Murphy has 12. The rest of the team with just 4. But that's nothing unusual, as the Murphy twins have been carrying a lot of the load for the Bobcats for much of the last 4 seasons. Johnson, however, has been quiet with just 2 points, those coming on free throws, although they have been working hard to get Ben Johnson, the big fella, some touches inside. Steal by Gibson. Now Bailey wants the baseline, floats up, is fouled. I believe that foul will go against Tanner Garver. It is against Tanner Garver. Khalil Bailey, the sophomore, with 4 points off the bench, will have 2 free throws. An aggressive move on the baseline for Bailey. Knew he wanted to get to the bucket, and that aggressiveness earned him this trip to the free throw line. And with this free throw attempt here, he could pull the Lions back even for the first time since we were tied at 4. And he does. So Bailey with 6. Lucas Mine back in, replacing Isaiah Grice. 27 all, our score, with 2:18 to play. Also into the game for the first time, 6'2" senior Cameron Decker in for the Lions. Waterman loses it right into the hands of Decker, who goes straight up, finishes, and he's fouled. So Cameron Decker, just as I called his name, the loose ball falls into his hands. He went straight up with it. The foul on Brad Waterman is his 3rd, so the starting senior forward heads back to the bench. And Decker, who has given the Lions their first lead since the early going, misses the free throw. But the Lions on top now, 29-27, as we approach the 2-minute mark. Hunt in the backcourt trying to poke it away from Johnson. Maybe a little ill-advised aggressiveness there by the big fella. And now he will take a seat, replaced by Chris Jones. Second foul on Eddie Hunt, the 6th against the Lions, so bonus the rest of the way for the last 2 minutes and 8 seconds of the half. Colin Murphy, guarded by Bailey. Ryan Murphy, Johnson, working hard, guarded by Jones. Well defended, and now they'll restart. Johnson again, trouble with the handles. Has been defended very well on the inside by the combination of Chris Jones and Eddie Hunt. And that's kept the talented 6'5" junior without a field goal here in this first half. And now an offensive foul is going to be called against Chase Younger, pushing off to create a little separation from his man. And with 1:45 to play in the half, it's back to the Lions, who are on top for the first time since the game's opening minutes. 29-27, Lions on top of the Bobcats, 1:40 to play in the half. This is Gibson, guarded closely by Garver, now ends up in the hands of Lucas Mine, who will step back near the timeline and allow some movement. Decker. Gibson, pump fake. Now he'll step in and shoot one from mid-range. No good. A rebound on the deck, and Khalil Bailey has it. 1:20 to play in the half. 29-27, Lansing on top. Lucas Mine. Decker takes the 3. Back iron, no good. And now a whistle away from the ball. That's a foul on the inside. It's going to be called against Khalil Bailey, who was battling Colin Murphy for position on the inside. First foul on Bailey. 7th against the Lions, so free throws upcoming for Colin Murphy. Murphy had 8 in the first quarter. He knocked down a triple here in this second quarter to account for his total of 11 points. And he is 2 for 2 from the free throw line. Make it 3 for 3 as he pulls the Bobcats back within a point. 1 minute, 12 seconds to play here in the opening half. Grice and Young back in, replacing Gibson and Decker. So it's Grice, Bailey, Young, Jones, and Mine on the floor for the Lions. as Murphy makes good on his second free throw attempt as well. We are tied at 29 with 1:10 to play in the opening half. Bailey double teamed, gets out of it, leaves it for Lucas Mine. We've had 4 ties, 2 lead changes as we go into the final minute of the opening half. Grice, Bailey trying to get it to Jones, and Jones is there. Pushed out a little high by Johnson. Good job by the junior Ben Johnson, not letting Jones get set up too deep. So back out on the perimeter, 45 seconds to play in the first half. Grice guarded by Younger. Driving right, hands off to Clay Young, who's guarded by Ryan Murphy. Calls for a screen. Now double teamed. Young, nowhere to go with it, throws it off of Murphy's leg, but saved in bounds by Ben Johnson. Now guarded closely in the backcourt, Clay Young gives a foul. So back to the free throw line for the Bobcats with a chance to take the lead again with just under 30 seconds to play here in the half. Johnson has made good on both of his free throw attempts to account for his only 2 points of the night, and he'll have one in the bonus here. 3 for 3 now. Four points for Johnson, and the lead back in favor of the Bobcats. Again, Bailey shut out on the baseline. We've seen that's at least the third time that the Lions, a member of the Lions, has jumped out of bounds and tried to save possession by throwing it off a defender, and that, which was questionable that time, is the only time it's worked to their benefit. 20 seconds to play. Lansing basketball trailing by 2. This is Lucas Mine. Now Isaiah Grice. Under 15 seconds to play now. Grice holds up one finger. They're going to go for one shot. Under 10 seconds now. Lucas Mine guarded by Younger. Now Grice guarded by Murphy. 5 seconds. Grice, nowhere to go. Off balance 3, contested off the rim. And the first half comes to an end with Basehor-Linwood leading Lansing 31-29. Tonight's broadcast of high school basketball on 810varsity.com brought to you by the Leavenworth Times. Get all of your hometown and Leavenworth County news with the Leavenworth Times. Call for a subscription today or visit leavenworthtimes.com. The Leavenworth Times covers Leavenworth, Lansing, Easton, and the rest of Leavenworth County. And the Leavenworth Times has partnered with 810 Varsity, making it easier for all fans and families of Leavenworth and Lansing High sports to watch games online. Visit leavenworthtimes.com today. We'll step aside for halftime. Again, the score, Basehor-Linwood 31, Lansing 29. You're watching Kansas City High School basketball on 810varsity.com. Back at Basehor-Linwood High School, where we're getting ready for the start of the second half. The home Bobcats leading the Lansing Lions 31-29. It's been the Murphy brothers leading the way for the Bobcats. Colin Murphy with 13, Ryan Murphy with 12, where it's been a balanced attack for the Lions. They've had 7 different scorers, including Lucas Mine and Khalil Bailey with 6 each, Isaiah Grice with 5. Tonight's broadcast on A10varsity.com is brought to you by CCA. Corrections Corporation of America is proud to sponsor the Leavenworth Pioneer webcast. CCA is America's leader in partnership corrections, operating over 60 facilities in nearly half of all states. Learn more about CCA job opportunities at ccajob.com, where you can apply for a rewarding position as a correctional officer, nurse, or teacher, just to name a few. Your next career could be in corrections with CCA. Visit ccajob.com. That's ccajob.com. Also brought to you by Basque Tanning. The weather may be cooling down, but you can still keep a hot tan. Stop in at Basque Tanning anytime and keep that glow all year long. Basque Tanning right across from Sonic on 40 Highway, 724-2288, where the beds are cool and the tans are hot. Starting the second half, it'll be Bobcats basketball leading 31-29. This game between Kaw Valley Powers has been all that any pregame hype could have forecast. Inside, Murphy defended well by Miller and Jones. And on the tie-up, the turnover to the Lions. We are 9 seconds into the third quarter. Lansing basketball trailing by 2. Lions led early after the first couple of possessions, but since then, it's been the Bobcats. They've led by as many as 5. We've had 2 lead changes, 5 ties, largest lead of the night, 5 on a couple of occasions for the Bobcats. Little fall away by Clay Young, and we're tied once again, 31-31. Clay Young has 4 points. The original starting 5 on the floor for both teams. Younger, off balance, kisses it off the glass. Chase Younger's second basket. And back on top go the Bobcats, 33-31. We are just about a minute into the second half. Grice guarded by Brad Waterman. Waterman limited time in the first half with 3 fouls. Off the screen, Isaiah Grice knocks down a 3. He's got 8 to lead Lansing. And the Lions are back on top, 34-33. Younger, Murphy. Nice quick move by Murphy, couldn't get it to go though, and now from the seat of his pants, rebounded by Young. Into the front court, Chris Jones gathers himself and flushes. Chris Jones rocks the rim with a bucket on the slam, and it's 36-33, Lansing on top. Now a steal, Grice. Jones had leaked ahead a little bit again, but Grice did not have room to make that pass. And they'll slow it down. Lucas Mine driving into the paint. Grice wants another 3 right wing. Short. A little contact looked like from Waterman. No call though off the miss. And rebounded by the Bobcats. 2 minutes into the third quarter. 36-33 Lansing. Leaner. Johnson doesn't go. The rebound ends up in the hands of Murphy, but he lost it on the way up. And now a foul. Foul goes against Clay Young. It is his 3rd. And now some discussion here between Coach Rod Briggs and one of the officials. And they are not kind words being exchanged here. Colin Murphy to the free throw line. So quick out of the gates come the Lansing Lions in this second half. A little 7-2 spurt to put them back on top. Free throw rattles around and out for Murphy. His first miss of the night. He had converted his first 4. Clay Young to the bench, replaced by Bailey for Lansing. Murphy's free throw gives him 14 points on the night. The substitution for the Bobcats brings Garver in for Waterman. 36-34, Lansing on top, 5:40 to play in the third quarter. Isaiah Grice wants a three over the top of Murphy, leaves it short again, and it's rebounded out to Garver. Guarded by Grice. Now bounce pass to a cutting Murphy, had it swatted, but a foul. I believe that one's going to go against Mike Miller on the reach. As Colin Murphy went up to the rim, it was Jones who got a piece of it. It is against Mike Miller, who's got 3. Another free throw for Murphy. Miller takes a seat, replaced by Eddie Hunt. 36-35, one more for Murphy. And around and in to tie us once again. 7th tie of the night, 36 all with 5:25 to play in the third quarter. Now a whistle away from the ball. Eddie Hunt and Ryan Murphy being pulled in together by one of the officials who's seen enough of the two of them battling in the fashion that they've been going at it. So we saw those two hit the floor together for a loose ball in the first half and mix it up a little. Must have been some of the same as Lansing set up its half court, and now they will restart with mine out near the timeline. Taken away. Colin Murphy rips it away from Isaiah Grice and now into the front court. Leaves it to Garver on a bounce. Younger, and he walked. Chase Younger shuffled the feet, trying to break free for an open look. And with 5:04 left here in the third quarter, it goes back over to Lansing. We are tied at 36. And now Younger with this takeaway in the backcourt, and he finishes. A little careless in the backcourt. Mine had it taken away from Chase Younger, who now has 6. 38-36. Basehor-Linwood back on top. Hunt spinning into the paint, took an extra step. And the turnover. Now a timeout for Coach Briggs and Lansing. 4:45 to play in the third quarter, 38-36. Bobcats on top. Broadcast brought to you tonight in part by Christian Brothers Roofing. If you're going to trust the roof over your head, you need to trust your roofing company. With Christian Brothers Roofing Company, you get years of experience and integrity. Don't wait until you know there's a problem. Contact us for a complimentary 16-point roof and gutter inspection at Christian Brothers Roofing. 816-453-ROOF or 453roof.com. Also, Young Sign and Company, a family-owned and operated business founded in 1978 by Gene Young. Whether indoor or outdoor signage, design, or printing, Young Sign Company has been the staple of quality signage in eastern Kansas. In fact, when A10 Varsity wanted banners printed, there was only one call to make. Check out Young Sign Company, only online at youngsigncompany.com or call 913-651-5432. 4:40 to play here in the third quarter. Basehor-Linwood on top of Lansing, 38-36. Murphy all the way to the rim, finishes. Ryan Murphy, first bucket of the second half. He's got 14, and the Bobcats lead is 4 at 40-36. Now a steal. Colin Murphy poked away from behind now by Grice. Now quickly the other way. Grice, mine with an open look. Short, and rebounded again by Murphy. Front court, Younger to the rim. Can't finish. Johnson with the offensive rebound, blocked by Chris Jones. Now loose ball, and a foul is going to go against Ryan Murphy. Frantic action at both ends of the floor. Third foul against Chase Younger. Crowd up to a roar following that series of possessions. Still a buzz as we get ready for the Lansing inbound with 4:06 to play. This has been a 7-0 run for the Bobcats, who trailed 36-33. It is now 40-36. The Bobcats on top as we cross the halfway point of the third quarter. Clay Young back in the game with 3 fouls. On a bounce to Lucas Mine. Mike Miller Bailey for three. Rattles in. Khalil Bailey, 9 points. That leads Lansing. And Lions back within one, 40-39. Miller out guarding Johnson. Now Younger guarded by Mine. Chase Younger. Open three. Murphy. No good. Rebounded by Clay Young. Young into the front court. Has it taken away. Stolen by Tanner Garver, who picks up his dribble. Now Bailey out tight on him. And now Colin Murphy off a little rub screen. Now leaves it over to Garver. Trying to get it inside to Johnson, and now that's going to be an offensive foul on Ben Johnson for pushing off his man. Miller had him fronted defensively, and Ben Johnson picks up his first foul, trying to discard a little bit. Zach McNabb back in. He saw very limited time in the first half off the bench, and he's going to give Chase Younger a breather for the Bobcats. Young will handle the ball into the front court. Colin Murphy waiting to pick him up at the timeline. It's Young, Bailey, Dante Gibson, Chris Jones, and Mike Miller on the floor for the Lions. This is Bailey on a bounce to Gibson, who thought about a three, instead leaves it to Bailey. Driving left, looking for space. Open three, Young on the kick out, hits. Clay Young. He's got 5 this quarter, 7 for the game. Lions back on top, 42-40 with 2:40 to play here in the third quarter. Nice seal. Colin Murphy then wraps it around and in. Colin Murphy leads all scorers with 18, and we're tied. 42 all, 2:25 to play in the third. Clay Young calling for a screen, but goes the other way. Now a head fake, goes all the way to the rim, around and out, rebounded by Ben Johnson. Nice move by Young, tried to lay it in softly with the right hand, but it rattled and rolled around the rim and out. And now a steal. Khalil Bailey into the front court. Oh, slipped. Tough break for Khalil Bailey, the sophomore, who planted his right foot to rise to the rim and slipped. Now we'll get a slight pause here as Lucas Mine comes out with a towel, knowing that wet spot on the floor may have cost his team a bucket there. So tough break for Lansing and for Khalil Bailey, who's probably lucky he didn't get hurt on that slick spot. So back over to the Bobcats, 2:06 to play here in the third quarter. This is Ryan Murphy bringing it up. He's joined on the floor by his brother Colin, Zach McNabb right here with the ball, Tanner Garver, and Brad Waterman. Under 2 minutes to play in the third quarter. All tied at 42, our 8th tie of the night. Waterman, baseline jumper, no good, rebounded by Eddie Hunt. Dante Gibson, sophomore guard, has not scored. Now he has it picked by McNabb, who goes right to the rim and finishes. Zach McNabb. First bucket of the game. Bobcats back on top, 44-42. Now a little touch foul out about 30 feet away from the basket is going to be called against McNabb as he tried to keep Gibson in front of him. 3 fouls this half against the Bobcats. That's the first against McNabb. 1:30 to play here in the third quarter. 44-42. Basehor-Linwood on top of Lansing. Off the screen, Grice rises for a three, no good. Rebound ends up in the hands of Ryan Murphy. It was Waterman who got up and went high for the board, but ended up on the floor, and Murphy pulled it down. Colin Murphy trying to get it inside to his brother. Clay Young was there to tip it out, but it ends up on the baseline. So it'll stay at this end of the floor. Jones back in for the Lions, and Johnson back in replacing Ryan Murphy for the Bobcats. Just over a minute to play in the third quarter. Bobcats 44, Lions 42. 3, Murphy misses everything, and rebound tracked down by Cameron Decker, who just checked in as well for Lansing. We're now under a minute to play in the third. Gibson, baseline, kicks it out to Eddie Hunt. One dribble, now leaning in, Eddie Hunt gets the roll. First basket for the big sophomore, Eddie Hunt, and we're tied once again. This time knotted at 44. As we approach 30 seconds to play, Murphy loses the handle. Grice into the front court. Isaiah Grice with the flush, and now he's going to get teed up for the chin-up. Grice with a little extra on the rim, and that's going to cost his team perhaps a couple of points here. Coach Rod Briggs fired up as Ty, a little off-center, doesn't like the call. So Grice's flush gives Lansing the 46-44 lead, but the technical on the senior guard sends Colin Murphy to the free throw line, where he hits the first, while the Lansing contingent continues to boo in protest of that call. And then some chirping from the Basehor-Linwood side, who wanted a technical foul called on the Lansing bench, as well as the coaching staff was laying into the officials to argue against that technical foul. So Young checking back in to replace Decker. And now the Lions faithful speaking up loudly here as we go under a half minute to play in the quarter. Hunt, the help defense by Jones on the swat. Eddie Hunt and Ryan Murphy still talking to each other. And another nudge between Hunt and Murphy as the big sophomore heads back to the bench. Bobcats basketball, 23.9 to play in the third quarter, all knotted up at 46. Colin Murphy, three. Good! Colin Murphy off the screen, hits a three. 49-46. Basehor-Linwood on top. Grice wants to answer and does! Isaiah Grice. Under 10 seconds to play. Ryan Murphy, Colin Murphy wants a three at the buzzer. No good, hits nothing. Less than a second to play in the quarter. We're tied at 49, 0.8 of a second, as the Lansing fans chant air ball at the Bobcats senior. After the two teams traded threes here in the final few seconds, Grice's last second heave harmlessly falls into the hands of the security guard. And we are in line for a high energy 8 minutes to finish this ball game. We end the third quarter all tied at 49 from Basehor-Linwood High School. Again, a moment to thank our sponsors at A10varsity.com. Citizens National Bank, a family-owned, independent financial services organization with a strong commitment to the communities which we serve. Locations with 24-hour ATMs in Leavenworth and Lansing, as well as online banking. Citizens is a proud sponsor of both Leavenworth and Lansing webcasts this season. Citizens National Bank, member FDIC. Also brought to you by Danny Zeck Ford, a fixture in Leavenworth County for decades. Derek and Dustin Zeck are third-generation Zecks, serving Leavenworth and Kansas City car shoppers. At Zeck Ford in Leavenworth, Kansas, they not only believe in treating every customer special, they practice it as well. The goal is to make you feel comfortable while purchasing your new or pre-owned vehicle. Stop by anytime, 4501 Main Street, or call 800-394-1650. Of course, shop the entire inventory online as well, 24/7 at dzford.com. 49-49 our score as we get ready for the start of the fourth quarter. It'll be Garver, Murphy, Johnson, and McNabb on the floor for the Bobcats. It's Lucas Mine, Isaiah Grice, Mike Miller, Chris Jones, and Clay Young for Lansing as they show a zone defense look here for the first time of the night. Ryan Murphy, baseline jumper, short off the iron, no good. Rebounded by Grice, but knocked away by Garver. Now a bounce pass inside to Johnson, who's fouled. That foul's going to go against Clay Young, who's got 4. Four team fouls this half. And now Young takes a quick seat, replaced by Bailey. 23 points for Colin Murphy to lead all scorers. His brother has 14. Ben Johnson been kind of quiet with just 4. On the other side, As a pass, too much to handle for Ryan Murphy, and it's turned over to Lansing. The Lions led by Isaiah Grice, who's got 13 points, 9 for Khalil Bailey, and 7 for Clay Young. We've had 10 ties, and we've had 8 lead changes. All knotted at 49 with 7:20 to play. Lucas Mine guarded by McNabb. Grice, 3. Off the back iron, no good, but rebounded by Khalil Bailey. Now back to Grice, who hit 2 threes in the third quarter and threw down a dunk, but his technical led to 2 free throws. Immediately the other way by the Bobcats. On the post, Jones with a tough move, hits the bottom of the backboard, but Bailey dives in for the rebound. Back to Jones, and a foul on the floor. I believe it will go against McNabb. It is against Zach McNabb. 4th against the Bobcats. He takes a seat, replaced by J.P. Downing. Waterman checks in to replace Garver. Mine on the baseline. Trouble finding someone, and now lobs it near the timeline where Grice pulls it down. Crosses over his man to the paint. Off the back iron, he couldn't get the shot to go, but a foul will send Isaiah Grice to the free throw line. Second foul on Colin Murphy. No good on the free throw for the 6'2 senior Isaiah Grice. And Grice fails to convert both, so we remain tied at 49, just over a minute into the fourth quarter. Basehor-Linwood 9-2 on the year. Lansing 10-1. Both teams undefeated in Kaw Valley play. Johnson, head fake at the elbow, and now he's called for carrying. Turned the ball over, palmed it, so it'll go back over to the Lions. Decker checks back in. So 3 possessions here in the fourth quarter, 2 turnovers for the Bobcats. Nearly a turnover there as Downing almost swatted away from Lucas Mine. Decker now shuffled his feet as he made his move around Murphy. So the 2 teams trade turnovers, and back to the Bobcats. Ryan Murphy, he's got 14 on the night. Johnson's been quiet. Ben Johnson with just 4 points, all coming from the free throw line. Murphy wants to do it himself all the way down the left side. Doesn't get the bounce. And Khalil Bailey with the rebound, and now Lucas Mine will trigger the offense. 2 minutes in to the fourth quarter. Not a point scored yet here in this final period. Still tied at 49. Step back 3, wide. That was Khalil Bailey. He knew it was off, tried to follow it, but the rebound for the Bobcats. 5:50 to play, 49-49. Waterman trying to make a quick move, falls back off the front iron, rebounded by Johnson. That one too strong, and now a foul. This one will go the other way against Johnson. Maybe a little frustrated after missing that one from close range as he and Miller got tangled up. So that'll be the second on Ben Johnson, and that is the 6th against the Bobcats. So bonus territory for the Lions with every foul from here on out. Eddie Hunt back into the game now, replacing Miller. It's Mine, Grice, Decker, Hunt, and Jones for the Lions. Downing, Murphy, Johnson, and Younger for the Bobcats. Decker over to Grice. Decker off balance, missed it, missed everything, and it's rebounded by Chase Younger. So nearly 3 minutes into this final period, we still haven't had a point scored, still knotted at 49. Johnson underneath, Younger hands it off to the bigger Murphy, who has it swatted. Chris Jones, I believe, was the one who got a hand on the ball. And back to the Lions. 5 minutes to play, 49 all. Eddie Hunt, the big man, dribbling it out on the perimeter, guarded by Ryan Murphy. Now in the hands of Lucas Mine. Off of the screen, Mine still wants to go to the baseline. Tough shot, hits it. Lucas Mine with 8 points. Lansing back on top, 51-49. Murphy, baseline, over to Younger. Little nudge there by Grice, who grimaces as the whistle is blown, knowing that he just gave kind of a cheap foul on that move. 2 on Grice, 5 on the Lions, as Miller and Bailey check in, replacing Hunt and Decker. Colin Murphy on the inbound. Younger. Hands off to Johnson. Guarded by Miller. Baseline. This is J.P. Downing. And now Ryan Murphy. The two Murphys have combined for 37 of the 49 Bobcats points. Who's going to step up and do it in the fourth quarter? There's Colin Murphy off the nice feed by Johnson. Johnson in the paint, jumped and left it off for Murphy. But quickly the other way, Khalil Bailey into double figures now with 11 points. And Lansing back on top by a pair, 53-51. Younger knifing through, leaves it to Ryan Murphy. Nice look by the sophomore guard, feeding Ryan Murphy. And now a 30-second timeout for Lansing. All tied at 53 with 3:51 to play. Whether buying or selling your home, Lisa Rees with Coldwell Banker Riley & Sons brings professionalism with honesty, integrity, loyalty, and hard work. Lisa Rees will guide you step by step through the entire process. Call or text 913-240-6004 or visit online at lisarees.com. That's Lisa Rees, REES.com. So a good one in the works here. It's been tight throughout from Basehor-Linwood High School. We've had 12 ties, 8 lead changes, and right now knotted up at 53, just over halfway through this fourth period. Little confusion over here as to what's going on as the timeout is extended and both teams head back to their benches. 3:51 to play. Tonight's broadcast also brought to you by A&B CarStar, collision or repair. A&B CarStar has locations throughout the Kansas City Metro. Check us out online for the closest location to you at carstar.com or call the Riverside location for more information, 816-741-6966. A&B CarStar, proud to be the title sponsor of A10varsity.com and sponsor high school sports year-round throughout the metro area. It's now been announced an official timeout to repair one of the goals, and we now see that one of the rungs, so to speak, on the net to the right of your screen has come loose. So a brief timeout for that at 53-53. The score with just under 4 minutes to play. Tonight's broadcast also brought to you by Young Sign Company, a family-owned and operated business founded in 1978 by Gene Young. Whether indoor or outdoor signage, design or printing, Young Sign Company has been the staple of quality signage in Eastern Kansas. In fact, when A10 Varsity wanted banners printed, there was only one call to make. Check out Young Sign Company online at youngsigncompany.com or call 913-651-5432. Our delay here due to the net coming loose at one end of the floor from the rim. Got a loose piece of nylon hanging. Again, the score 53-53 as Basehor-Linwood and Lansing, two undefeated teams in the Kaw Valley League, facing off. It's been sloppy at times with plenty of turnovers, but high energy thanks to this packed house as usual here. And the Lansing Lions have brought a very good contingent from across town as well. Must just be awaiting a ladder here to repair that net, as both teams taking advantage of an extended timeout. And right on cue, as the Bobcats cheerleaders take the floor, and the Lansing cheerleaders answer by doing the same. Here comes our net repairman. Tonight's broadcast also brought to you by the Leavenworth Times. Get all of your hometown and Leavenworth County news with Leavenworth Times. Call for a subscription today or visit leavenworthtimes.com. The Leavenworth Times covers Leavenworth, Lansing, Easton, and the rest of Leavenworth County. And the Leavenworth Times is partnered with 810 Varsity, making it easier for all fans and families of Leavenworth and Lansing High. Watch games online. Visit theleavenworthtimes.com today. Back to action with 3:51 to play, 53-53 our score. Lansing basketball. Grice with the basketball, guarded by Younger. Grice leads the Lions with 13 points. Dangerous pass all the way under the basket. Chris Jones was there, and a cutting Lucas Mine was there, cutting from the baseline. But the long 45-foot pass knocked out of bounds and back to the Bobcats. 3:30 to play, 53-53. This is J.P. Downing. Johnson into the paint, spinning, and he traveled. So Ben Johnson, much to the chagrin of this loud Basehor-Linwood crowd, called for a walk. 3:27 to play, all tied at 53. Clay Young giving Isaiah Grice a breather. Young picked up his fourth foul on the opening possession of the fourth quarter and has not seen action since, but back on the floor is Clay Young, who's got 7 points for the Lions. Lucas Mine guarded by Downing, now hands off to Young. 3:15 to play, all tied at 53. Khalil Bailey, he's got 11 off the bench. Gives it back to Young, and they'll restart. Miller with the screen. Now Young will back up. He's guarded by Colin Murphy. Young driving left, going all the way in, and now he's going to get called for a walk. Young got a little hung up there as he got toward the low block and tried to lean into Colin Murphy and appeared to drag his foot there. Grice back in after a very short rest, and Young back to the bench. So it'll be Colin Murphy, who's dominated the scoring column with 25. He's got the ball on the wing here. Younger, dangerous pass across court, but Ryan Murphy controls. Colin in the lane. Back to Ryan Murphy, who wants the three. Rattles around and in. Ryan Murphy with the big three. And it's 56-53. Bobcats on top with 2.5 to play. Murphy got a lot of rim and a little backboard with that, and then turned to the student section with a big nod of his head. And now a timeout for the Lions with 2:25 to play. The broadcast on 810 Varsity also brought to you by Basque Tanning. The weather may be cooling down, but you can still keep a hot tan. Stop in to Basque Tanning anytime and keep that glow all year long. Basque Tanning right across from Sonic on 40 Highway, 724-2288, where the beds are cool and the tans are hot. Another place that's hot right now is this gymnasium at Basehor-Linwood High School. It's packed, and it's been a good one. 56-53, Bobcats on top as we reset here with 2:25 to play. Next foul by the Bobcats will put the Lions on the free throw line. 5 team fouls for the Lions. As they break the sideline huddle, it's the Murphy twins with Johnson, Garver, and Younger for the Bobcats. And for Lansing, it's Lucas Mine, Isaiah Grice, Clay Young back in the game, along with Mike Miller and Chris Jones. So the original starting 5 for Lansing. Grice now hands off to Lucas Mine, who's picked up quickly near the timeline by Chase Younger. Now a fumble on the handoff there. Grice seemed to fall on top of his man as he went to the deck for it. Possession arrow will keep it at this end of the floor. Might want to call for a towel there where those two young men hit the deck. Mine was trying to hand it back off to Grice, who didn't seem prepared for it. And Grice, honestly, lucky he didn't pick up a foul as he landed right on top of Chase Younger. But it stays at this end of the floor now, 2:10 to play. Lions with the basketball, trailing by 3. Mine guarded by Younger. Miller trying to get position inside, hasn't been a factor offensively. And now it reverses this way. Young rises up off the glass, unlucky as it rolls around and out. Clay Young with a good move but can't get the finish. And with under 2 minutes to play now, it's Bobcats basketball and a 3-point lead. Johnson out on the left wing leaves it for Ryan Murphy. Murphy with 19. He hit a big three a moment ago to give the Bobcats this lead. Now Colin Murphy, who's been even bigger. He's got 25. Now under a minute and a half to play. Johnson leaves it to Younger. They're content to work some clock and now handed back off to Ryan Murphy, who's guarded closely by Chris Jones. 1:18 to play. Colin Murphy off the screen. Younger was open briefly on a baseline cut, but Grice shut him off. It looked like that's where Johnson was trying to get it, but Murphy got it on the post anyway. He finished. Couldn't hear the whistle because of all this noise in the arena, and the foul is going to be called against Miller before the shot. So the 6th team foul is the 4th against Mike Miller, and with 1:06 left, a baseline inbound to Colin Murphy. We'll see how long the Lions wait before giving another foul here to send him to the free throw line. That comes right now from Mike Miller, who's now DQ'd with his 5th foul. So Mike Miller scored 4 points, but his 5 fouls send him to the bench, and Khalil Bailey will check in. Ben Johnson to the free throw line with exactly a minute to play. Can make this a 2-possession game. He's perfect 4 for 4 from the line tonight. Those are all the points that the 6'5 junior has scored, and none would be bigger than these to this point. Way short on the free throw as it just brushes the net and falls out of bounds. So because that didn't draw iron and went out of bounds, it's back over to the Lions, and it remains a 1-possession game. Grice will give it back to Clay Young to start the offense. Young has Bailey, Mine, Jones, and Grice. Grice wants a deep three to tie, and he's got it! Isaiah Grice with his 4th three of the game. He leads the Lions with 16 points, and he's tied it up at 56. 40 seconds left. In the paint, out to Garver. Murphy at the elbow picks up his dribble. Ryan Murphy step back with 30 seconds left. His brother off of a curl. Tough shot, got it to go. Colin Murphy has the Bobcats back on top. 20 seconds to play, 58-56. Timeout, Lions. So Murphy to Murphy on the inside, and a tough finish by Colin Murphy, who now has 27. He and his brother combining for 45 of the 58 points. Remember to follow live brackets and watch games online all year long at 810varsity.com, the new home for Kansas City high school sports. If you like 810 Varsity now, buckle your seatbelts as a new redesign is set to launch in a few weeks. Team and league pages, full sport coverage from football to soccer to wrestling, and of course, no one brings more games live online than 810varsity.com. Over 250 broadcasts this school year, live or archive. Watch the games online at 810varsity.com. 20.7 seconds to play. 58-56, Basehor-Linwood on top. Coincidentally, this the same score by which Lansing suffered its only other loss of the season, that coming last weekend at the Tonganoxie Invitational when they fell in the semifinals to Blue Valley Southwest, 58-56. We were tied at 49 to start the 4th quarter. It is 58-56 now. It'll be Grice to trigger the inbound. He's got Lucas Mine, Khalil Bailey, Chris Jones, and Clay Young with him. It's Ryan Murphy, Colin Murphy, Tanner Garver, Chase Younger, and Ben Johnson on the floor for the Bobcats. Younger comes out to guard Lucas Mine. Mine to Grice, a deep three. He's got it! Isaiah Grice with 10 seconds left has given Lansing the lead, 59-58. Murphy, baseline, goes down, foul on the play, and it's an offensive foul called against Colin Murphy. 5.3 seconds left. The Lansing crowd on fire. The Basehor-Linwood crowd on fire for the opposite reason, as Murphy was shut out on the baseline and called for the offensive foul under the basket as he tried to get around his man to take the lead for the Bobcats. A lot of disbelief in this gymnasium as Grice's NBA range three from beyond the top of the circle has given the Lansing Lions the lead, 59-58. Timeout Bobcats with 5.3 seconds to play. So 3 for Isaiah Grice to answer Colin Murphy. That represents our 9th lead change of the night. We've been tied 13 times. And when we resume action, it will be Lansing basketball with a 1-point lead. 7 team fouls on both sides. So no fouls to give for Basehor-Linwood, which is good news because that means the first touch will send the Lions to the free throw line for 1 in the bonus. And because it's only a 1-point margin, even if the Lions do get to the line and make both the free throws, it remains a 1-possession game for the Bobcats. .3 seconds to play. Lansing by a point. Young to trigger the inbound with Grice, Mine, Bailey, and Chris Jones. It's Bailey running back to the ball. No foul called against Garver. And now still no foul called. And now the time runs out. Garver in the ear of the official, as is Coach Mike McBride, as no foul was called. It was right in front of the Basehor bench as Garver and then Murphy came over to try and give the foul in the final seconds. The whistle was not blown. The pass went to the other side of the court, and the final seconds of the game harmlessly ticked off the clock. And that does it. Lansing with a 59-58 win on the strength of Isaiah Grice's 5 3-pointers. He finishes with 19 points. His 3 with about 12 seconds left gives Lansing the win, and disbelief from the Basehor-Linwood crowd and team and bench as no foul was called in the final seconds. So Lansing improves to 11-1. Basehor-Linwood gets its first league loss of the year. They fall to 9-3. Again, our final score, Lansing 59, Basehor-Linwood 58. Thanks for joining us from Basehor-Linwood High School. Good night from A10varsity.com.